Hello, welcome to Real Magic Review. My name is Steve Faulkner, and today we're going to be talking about Bankable. And I know that loads of people have talked about it, but I've got some things to say, and it's nice. It's a Friday night, and I feel connected to you. Before we do this, you see down there, it says stevefaulkner.com/newsletter. Now, rather than me bang on about the podcast, the reviews, the squeaky chair, the other podcast that we've just launched, what's the other thing? Oh, the membership, the Royal Road course, all those things. If you go there and put your details in there, I'm not going to spam you about all those things constantly because that annoys people, doesn't it? It annoys me. But you will find out when I go live, which is going to be most days. I had a bit of a hiatus this week because life got a little bit much for Stevie's brain. But I'm going to be going live at random times. So make sure the little bell icon is also when you subscribe on the thing, because if it's not, I may not send emails out about every live stream. On the live streams, I'm going to try and succeed, unless I've got a gig, at 8 o'clock every Sunday evening, definitely. I know it's not Sunday now, there'll be extra ones, but Sunday evenings, 8 o'clock, is just sort of, that's when I'm going to go live. Can you please send me a message or give me an emoji or anything like that, just to let me know you can hear me, because I don't like not knowing. That's where my comments are coming up. And then I'll start. Well, I'll start anyway. So, Bankable has been talked about a lot. Me and Toby Davies have just done a podcast, not about it, but we talked about it there. It's been bigged up, hasn't it? And it's been talked about in a really positive way. And loads of people are saying they're taking it out and performing with it. On the Facebook group, people are actually performing with it. And that's as it should be, but not always the case, is it? Sometimes you'll love a magic trick just because you love it, but people are having, thank you very much, good to see you, loads of success with it. But I purposefully haven't watched all the reviews. I haven't watched any other reviews. So if I do repeat what they're saying, I apologize, but we'll go with the basics first. I'll show you the trailer. When you're watching the trailer, I know you've probably seen it before, but do come up with any questions that you might have in the trailer, and then we'll come back to it.
But is it the best version, and did it get me squealing like a little schoolgirl? Absolutely. If anyone does Bank Night, then throw your Bank Night in the bin and pick up that one.
My name is Eric Stevens, and this is my brand new project, Bankable. It's the fastest, fairest, and most direct bank night routine, well, ever. You offer your participant a choice of one of 4 brightly colored envelopes. You explain that each one of the envelopes contains a special prize. I have 4 envelopes here of very bright colors. Here's the idea. Each one of these envelopes contains a prize. They're all really good, but only one is like, well, it's just a little bit better than all the others, and I want you to win it. So I'm going to try and psychologically influence you to pick it. Now, I'm not going to just tell you what it is straight up because that's no fun, but I am going to give you a shot, okay? So you take a second, and when you're ready, you tell me the color that feels right to you. I'll take what's left. Now, no matter what they choose, you'll open it to reveal a card that says, give the magician a high five. Which one? Purple one. You're absolutely certain. No last minute switchy?
Which colour would you like? The white and blue, that's the best one, that's the winner. It's the winner. Let's see, what did you win? Check it out. It's
Give Eric a high five.
Good morning, high five.
Hell yeah, Rob. That's when you turn the tables and the envelopes around to reveal. But here's the thing though, I didn't give you all the information. See, all these envelopes, they have these little windows in them. I don't know if you saw that. I'll show you what I was looking at. But I mean, I'm pretty happy with the high five, are you? Because let's be honest, you know, money can't buy happiness. I really did try though, man. I'm so sorry.
Money can't buy happiness, right? Yeah, you got to have the best time.
Money can't buy happiness, man. And that's when you hit him with the second high five.
Do you want another shot? Would you like another go?
Yeah. Bankable never makes you feel like you're screwed over because it's a celebration. You can play it in a minute for laughs, There are no flaps to break, no arts and crafts. This is a 100-mile-per-hour, fast and funny miracle. With brightly colored Tyvek envelopes, dry wipe index cards that are completely customizable. Now they come in pounds, euros, and dollars. But if you're using a different currency, it just takes 2 minutes to change the gimmick into anything you want. If you want an incredibly easy, fast-paced, high-impact mind-reading trick that has guaranteed laughs built right in, you need Bankable.
Right, so it's great because that's done most of the work for me. And as many of you will know, I don't like describing even magic tricks. I did the Desert Island Tricks podcast today. It's going out next week, I think. And at one point, I got very tongue-tied explaining a very simple magic trick. So I don't have to do that now. However, the first thing is I have got no performance footage of me performing this. I don't need it. I am going to have it, and I have performed it. I promise. I've performed it quite a few times because we know the trick. It's not a new trick, right? Bank night, for those of you that are new, is, you know, as old as years. It goes back to, you know, it's the foundations of mentalism, right? Probably not right back, but I've seen it since I've been into it, where you could have 4 envelopes, or 5 envelopes, or 10 envelopes. The audience members pick them. That you're left with one. Yours has got 50 quid in it, and theirs has got nothing in it. And Richard Austin had a thing where theirs had scratch cards in, which I thought was a quite nice thing, and often played in the way that they lose, you win. Now, a lot of people say they don't like that. I think that can be very funny. I think it's fine, all right, if it's done properly. If it's not done like, I've won and you've, like, you know, that's the humour of it. As it is with this is a bit different, and we'll talk about that in a sec. But that's the classic thing. And then over years, obviously, people have gone, well, it doesn't have to be money. How else can we do this? And, you know, famous versions with John Archer doing it on Foolers. Again, that was with money, but with different scripting. It can be played for laughs. It can be played as a kind of quite exciting thing. I've done Luch's The Score Pro on stage, which is a versatile big version of it. So you have 4 envelopes, different colors, and you can customize what the last thing is that gets pulled out. So I did it on stage with, and the review's coming out very soon, with, they just got ticks and I got the only cross, and you can put meaning to that, whatever. So the point of it is it's sometimes not a mind-blowing magic trick or piece of mentalism. Sometimes it is, but it's more the fun and the byplay that can happen on that journey to that last moment, which is genuinely fooling. And a lot's been made about the gag side of this, this high five thing, and we'll talk about that in a sec. But I don't want to forget how strong it is. We're so used to seeing it, many of us, that we forget how strong that moment is, where they have had a completely free choice, as they have, and as they always have, really. But they get the anomaly. They get the 1 in 5 or 1 in 10 or 1 in 4 or whatever it is. So it's a strong trick. We know that, and this works perfectly, and it works, and it's easy, and all the things in the trailer are true. There are no arts and crafts. I was really surprised, actually. I genuinely thought I was going to get it and go and have to get 4 £50 notes like you do with Extreme Burn or whatever, and I was delighted that I didn't. And I will be totally honest. When I watch a film, and I know there's a twist in the film, I don't try and work it out. When I saw this, it did genuinely fool me. No, I'm not a mentalist, and if you do loads of mentalism, you may not have been as fooled as easy as me, but I know that a lot of people have. And I just thought it was very simple, which is the best way, and foolproof and easy. Now, when we say easy, and this is the one thing I think is important, the trick itself is easy. It needs rehearsal, right? Because you're handling things that you don't want to expose, right? There's the way of me handling these. I don't want you to see certain things. I don't have to think about it. It's super easy. But if I don't think about it at all, and I don't rehearse it at all, and I don't think about when you choose that one and I put them down, and when do I pick them up again, that's all part of doing a magic trick. I might have even exposed did I? Oh, like that, which I often do in these things. But it's a good point. If you're not thinking, so you just walk through the bits and pieces, but there's no sleight of hand. There's none of that. You just got to know what you're doing at what point. That part, I think, you'd be tempted to go straight out and do it as I did. Fine. The second bit is this joke. And this is a big part of this, but it doesn't have to be. The high five thing, you customize this and you write what you want on it, right? The prize. The prize is give Steve a high five. I've just taken it. I just think it's funny. And I think it's funny an English person doing high fives because we don't really do it very often. So we kind of, it looks a bit like seeing Noel Coulter do a high five is very different than seeing Eric Stevens do a high five. Right? But they're both funny in different ways. That joke is funny, but the first couple of times I did it, it didn't really hit. And there's a couple of people that have said, yeah, I did it and it didn't really get the laugh. And we've got to remember, even the most simple of jokes and the best ones do require timing. We know that. We read about it and there's gags about it, all that. And we know they require timing, but sometimes we forget that when we do it. So I remember when I worked the street, I'd do lines that I knew would hit, but sometimes they didn't hit. And it would just be because I did it at the wrong time. So what I would say from doing this is that if you're going to do the gag at the end, which is, do you want another go when you explain that they've got the windows in them? Yes, you put your hand up and the high five, and they're not going to have another go at winning the money. Sometimes if you do that too early, they're still, could forget, the lay people are still going, how did he or she do that? So if we do it at that point, they're trying to process two things, and a lot of the time they won't even notice the joke. They'll go, yeah, and it was. So I play with doing it a lot later. So I walk away and go, hang on, okay, that's a bit unfair. Do you want another go? Yeah, high five. And it's about how you do the physicality of it, how you put your hand up. Does it look like you're just putting your hand up, or it sounds really obvious, but there are ways of doing it that look funny, and that's just experimenting. But it doesn't really matter because it's not all about the joke. It's about the thing. And there is a joke in showing the 50s, right? There's a joke in showing that there's 50s, and we can show those 50s as in, that's a shame because if you'd have gone this way, or we can show the 50s as a kind of gesture, just as we're putting them away, or we can say money's not everything, or I've got a nice thing where I've been saying, it looks like a joke, but this is going to feel like a joke, but I think the things you could have won are going to feel like they're very valuable, but actually it's human connection that's more important than the thing that's finite, that's going to run out, so it's a shame that you haven't won, but you got the high five, whatever. That isn't a script, by the way, it's just a concept and an idea. But the point is there's lots of ways you can play with this, and you don't have to do £50 notes. Yes, that's what you get with it, or euros or whatever, but you can, as people on the Facebook page have done loads of other things that lean into the effect more. So there might be denominations that rise up and they make a big thing. You could have chosen this, you could have chosen this, and I quite like the idea of going, you could have had a 5, you could have had a 10, you could have had a 50, but no, you got a high 5, so there's different customizations in this, which I think will come from improvisation as well as thinking about it. And all you've got to do is the customizing it. If you want to do the arts and crafts and make it different, is very, very easy. And there's more adult things. And the Facebook page has been a really lovely place to go, oh, yeah, there's, that could be a totally different feel to that trick. And some of you might think, well, that's not what I'm buying. But I really genuinely think that what you're buying is you're buying the envelopes that are Tyvek and they're not going to break and they're going to last you for ages. But you're also buying the trial and error, the technique and the routine and the rights to perform it and all that sort of stuff. The thinking, that's the difficult bit. The actual making of it isn't the problem. So the routine is strong. It's easy. It's kind of angle proof. You might have to, if you've got people around you, you might have to, tilt things a little bit and all that. And I think it's versatile and it needs rehearsal. Now, a couple of other things. A couple of people on the Facebook pages have mentioned that there is a discrepancy in the way this is made, is what I put into it. When you look at it and you scrutinize it, you go, oh, that could be potentially be a giveaway. I will say categorically that it's not. And if you've got it, you might know what I mean. It really isn't. And we have to understand. And I totally believe when if they've designed it this way so the thing comes out easily. When I do that, all right, when I do that and I show that at the end, the eye is drawn to those notes, nowhere else, all right? So if there is anything to be seen that is very slightly a giveaway there, it's not going to be, because in the same way that when you do, I'll probably do it quite badly, when you do this kind of change here, what tends to happen is the eye is drawn to the change. And this is from Ben L's teaching on Past Midnight many years ago. The eye is drawn to the change. So if there's anything going on here, they don't tend to see a slide of a card or anything, because it's that the eyes are drawn to that and not that weirdness, that thing that's happened. So really don't worry. Read Gustav Kuhn's books on change blindness and things like that, and the science of magic, and you just have got nothing to worry about in any way at all. I've not once been caught by it. I know I won't be caught on it, and it's just a design of the things, and it's just the beauty of what we do is in the discrepancy, in the fact that once we understand why it works, we know we're safe. So I think it's great. I think you've got to understand that the timing and the scripting and all that will need working in, but it doesn't matter because the trick itself is strong enough. Is the trick on its own the same as putting a bottle through a table? No, but it's not that kind of trick. It's the perfect opener. It doesn't have to be a kind of proper, gut punch on a magical way. I think it is strong, and I think it could be framed in that way, and I think it would be nice to play around with different ways of doing it. And that's the thing you need to know. Don't do it once and go, oh, the gag didn't work, or the thing, it's fine. Don't worry about the other thing. And it's a tried and tested trick that we know works well, that is easy. And I think that's why people love it. It's because it's super easy, and I love an easy trick, but it does require some thought and timing and potentially audience management, but not really. It's not perfect for every situation. The first time I was going to do this, it was just too noisy, and I couldn't do anything with any process whatsoever because they just couldn't hear. Saying that, I think you can just get to the point, choose one of them. Oh, that's a shame. Bang, high five. There's the thing. Great. It's a funny opener. It involves different people, and it's got that dynamic to it, which I really, really like. Let me see if there's anything I've forgotten to say. Use the colors in different ways. Yeah, you can do it. So the whole thing about using the colors and pretending that you're manipulating the way they go is great. Don't forget the process. Yeah, no, that's good. That's it, I think. I'm not saying that's good. I'm not saying that's a good review that I just did. You should all congratulate me. I'm saying I think that's what I've got to say. So put any questions here. That is the review. I really do recommend it. I think it's great. There's a reason why people are doing it. And I think it's the sort of thing that will stay in your repartee. So, can I buy from other shops or any trick boom? No, I don't know. I think what tends to happen, and I don't know this. I've got to move that thing because it's annoying me. I'm going to move that over there. What tends to happen is that, and I genuinely don't know. I'm not an expert, but they will put it out, or someone will put their own trick out, and then it will be purchased through other places afterwards. But I'm not sure what they're doing with this. I'm not sure whether it's going to be exclusive. I know only because I saw it on the website earlier that Trick Boom shipped from the UK and from the US, I think. So wherever you are, I think you should be all right. Philip Smith, magician, says, I worked it last weekend and didn't use the joke. It didn't suit my style, and I used a different funny prize, which went so much better. Yeah, and I think that, great, Philip, that is a really important thing. The wording of the joke is super important, isn't it? So, again, Eric, there's something he says in the trailer, and look at the difference between him and Roddy and Noel doing it. Roddy's very kind of like, oh, yeah, he's got that really chatty, like, relaxed humour. And Eric's like, and Eric, in the live stream that they did, Eric was a bit, I'm not conscious, but he was saying, I didn't realise that the mic was working so well, so he was very shouty in all that stuff. I don't think he was. I think he's fine, actually. He's very sort of street performery. But your wording of how things unfold may not suit you. So the words money can't buy you everything, or whatever he uses, don't really suit me. It's not a word, it's not a phrase that I say much. So it's like, oh, it's a shame, but money's the root of all evil, isn't it? And a high five has never been called that, or something like that. Oh no, hilarious. No, but you know what I mean. There is versatility in it. Trick Boom says, and hello, how are you? Only from Trick Doom. Is it Roddy or is it Noel? I've got a feeling it might be Noel. And Philip says, classic case of adapt the trick to your style. Yeah, and it is an easy one to do that with. Thanks, Tom Marquette. So it's good. You can't really go wrong, can you? I mean, you're not going to do that. It's easy to understand, and it's easy, and And I think we've covered everything there is to cover. So speak now or forever hold your peace. I'm going to go. Thanks very much. Do us a favour, go to stevefaulkner.com newsletter. Promise I won't spam you. I'll just tell you things and send you things if you want to keep up with stuff. And I've got some really good stuff coming out that, that I'm very proud of. And onlinemagic.co. Follow me on Instagram at Real Magic Review and at Steve Faulkner. And please do share this, let people know. And come and hang out on Sunday night, 8 o'clock, and lots of other times. If you see me pop up, come and say hello to make me feel less lonely. It's always me. Roddy currently is gigging Bankable. And he is. And I know he is because I've been asking him how it's been going. So, yeah, good, isn't it? All right, everyone. Have a great one. Have a lovely Friday, isn't it? All the days are the same, aren't they? And thanks for keeping me company. It means an awful lot. And thank you for your support. And let's have a lovely, lovely weekend. I'll probably pop up again soon. See ya.